Hi and welcome to another vlog. Today I don't have great news, but I guess that will make up with the fact that I can make probably an interesting video for you. I broke the nail. It doesn't look broken, but I'll show you now in a second with a zoom. It is broken. And I will show you what I do to fix it. Luckily for me, I have rather strong nails, not crazy strong, but enough that they don't bend easily, which for playing is great. But that means that if I punch or I hit something with my nails really hard, I risk to break them, or what happens most of the time, actually it happens really rarely, but it does happen from time to time, like now, then it appears some sort of scratch here on the side of the nail. And to prevent it from fully breaking, eventually to getting stuck in the cloth or something and then just getting ripped off, which doesn't sound really nice, I have to fix it the way I would fix if it was a complete break. Hopefully that will help to some of you. This is a temporary solution until the nail regrows back, and something that I've used anytime for concerts, competition, and this has worked great for me. It doesn't change the sound so much. The sound is not really terrible, you can definitely play with it, so I'm kind of happy with this type of fix. Let's get into it. So this is the type of break I was talking about. It's just like a line here, the nail is still there, but it could continue breaking really badly. So I will need to put the fix here. So what I use to fix my nails is a pair of scissors, a little bit of super glue. I like to buy these very small confections. Then the silk paper that will come with this nail kit repair that I always like to use, and the file that comes with it. It has a very rough side and then another more fine, and this is great because when you put the super glue in this silk paper, then this roughness is perfect to go a little bit faster. And then just some toothstick to fix all the edges and everything so you don't super glue your left hand. The first thing I do is I take a cotton and some nail polish remover. This is without acetone, just to clean the nails, because many times during practice I put a protector. I'm gonna show you which one. Now I was using this protector. It's from the pharmacy. It's just a transparent layer on your nail, otherwise I run literally out of nails if I practice too much, and that is very helpful for me. But I also tried other brands and they are also good, so any protector really, if it's not damaging to the nails, you're fine. There we go, everything clean and ready to go. Now you can tell that the break is here. It's very subtle, but it's there. I think in reality you can see it very easily, but in camera it's actually hard to tell. But the break is here on this side, and I take the string right on the opposite side. And because of the location of this break, what I'm going to do is put the silk paper all on the top of the nail, but not cover the entire thing, just the front. But make sure that it starts where I actually take the string, so more or less here. Why? Because if I put the silk paper only in that side and I miss this side here where the action starts always, what's gonna happen is it's going to sound awful. So I want that when the string slides, starts to slide with the same type of texture nail, be it fake, be it a repaired nail or a natural nail. Otherwise it's going to have a terrible click on it and you will not be able to get rid of it. I do this more or less to check how much I would need. This is what I want to cover. I don't want to put more than what's necessary because obviously it's not so great to have super glue on your nail, but as a temporary fix, nothing happens with it. So we will roll along with it. So now we have this little square. It's far from perfect and is far from exactly the right size. So what I'm going to do is I will make sure that on one end it fits right where the nail finishes. There we go, like here. And then I put it all over the nail like this. And then you see in this side that it's going over the flesh. So this we will have to cut. Now the bad news for me is that I have to keep the finger in position. And I'm not left-handed, so first I will trim off just a little bit like that. It's still not perfect, so we will continue. Okay, there we go. So now in this side, see that it finishes with the nail. You don't need to worry about all this left over here. And here, same thing. I don't want to be until tomorrow filing this down when I put the super glue. So I'm going to cut a little bit this off, just like something like this. So then it's more human and doable, the whole process. As you're doing this, make sure to leave more left over of silk than too less. A rough cut here is more than enough. You see how imprecise that is? It will be fine. This all will be sanded down once we have applied the super glue. The problem is that if this we would cut very, very close to the nail, when we put the super glue, it's not going to really glue very well on here, and it's going to be lifting up all the time as soon as you play for a couple of days. So now, for this next step, you want to have the toothpick at hand, because we will be applying the super glue, and we will be using this to poke on the nail to make sure that it sticks. I like to start from the base, from here, and then move my way to the top, because like this the leftover glue can run through and I can spread it easier rather than the contrary and kind of accumulate it on my naked nail. I like to insist here right from the beginning and the edges, because it's maybe the most sensitive. Here is the first place where the string has contact with the nail, so I want to make sure that is well attached. Bringing the glue from the base to the top. And to avoid any wrinkles, I go from one side to the other. That I should maybe have said before, but hopefully you're watching the tutorial not as you're making your nails, but you watch it first, see the whole process, and then do it. The good thing is that if we do like this, if the silk would be yet a little bit too long in this side, we can always have plenty of time to just cut it a little bit. From my experience, you don't want the silk to be super glued on your skin, because it's going to create a space of air between the skin, the silk, and the nail, and it's going to be where this fix is going to break and come off a little bit too early than it should. I have seen people that they just put these and they just drop a huge massive lot of super glue here, and then just the silk paper obviously attach easily and that's it. But I don't know, I just like to make it really careful, because if I make it well, then the sound is really not going to be bad at all. This edge is also tricky. Make sure that this sticked really... Sorry, I'm trying to push the skin down so this sticked all the way. The position which I have to do this is seriously not normal. Usually like I have the finger facing me, and this is really weird. But everything for the sake of the tutorial. Now you see the nail it's kind of still looks wet, so that will need to dry. It will not really take long. And then I like to pass here in the very top and a little bit, really gentle, roll this toothpick. And then I put just nothing here on the very edge of the nail. I do that because this repair, it generally lasts about 2-3 weeks, sometimes even a month. And if I do this, the sound really will not be affected so much. Let's say the main problems that you can experience with this is gluing it badly. If you have a wrinkle in the middle of the nail, there is going to be some sort of gap and the sound is going to be awful. If you don't make sure that the top of the silk is well attached to the really edge of the nail, that is going to also come off as you play, so it's going to last much less. If I do it well with this type of thing, what it happens is that I play really normal, it just behaves like the natural nail, and eventually after about 3 weeks, because the nail breathes, the nail transpires, eventually it comes off. Just it peels off. If by then the nail has not yet regrown fully, then I will need to make another one, probably smaller. If it did, then fantastic, there we go, that's it, done, finished. And yeah, it's very useful to me, this system, so hopefully that will save you from some breaks. In the situation that you would have a piece of the nail missing, you would do exactly the same, but when you poke around the top, then you obviously stop where the break is and let the silk harden as if it was your nail. In these cases, you most likely won't apply 2 sheets of silk because one probably is not enough. It depends a little bit if you have very thin nails. If you're used to very thin nails, maybe 1 sheet is enough, but most likely I would put 2. And you would repeat the same exact procedure. If you would need another one, then when this dries is the moment to do it. And then just works perfectly fine. Maybe the sound is really not the best, but again, it depends on the type of break that you have and also the experience that you have applying this, because I remember in the beginning I did some messes with this and it sounded awful with a very easy break, and now I think I can make it sound quite nice, if not unnoticeable, with rather bad break. Now the silk paper is totally dry. You see that it hardened here, and you see here in this part is not attached to the skin whatsoever. It's just this part that we will file now down, and the same here. Don't worry anyways if it attaches a little bit the super glue on your skin in here. It's gonna come off really in a couple of hours even, or in a day. It's going to unstick, so don't bother too much about it. But obviously make sure that when you are applying the super glue, you don't super glue your finger, that to begin with. Now the last part of the step is to take this file and sand down all the excess here, and we will start with the rough part of it. Make sure though you follow the shape of your nail, because eventually you see that the paper is curving inwards. You see that the paper is curving inwards because I'm sanding down, because I don't want to lift it up. I don't want to run the risk that it separates from the nail. So I always go the direction down and from the edges from back to front, and eventually it will start to come apart when the file meets the nail. Then it will cut the sandpaper. You'll see now that I go under and the silk paper will start to come off. Now I'm starting to follow the shape of the nail, which is the same one that I used to practice. We're almost there. See, now this little piece here needs to get loose. I'm just about to go to the nail. Exactly, you see? Then it starts to get cut, and there you know you arrived to the nail. Now it's gone. So, once all the pieces have fallen apart, then I take this fine part and I go a little bit around it just to make sure everything is smooth. And there we go. Now we have our new nail fixed. And this part now has protection. It's not likely to break, and it will stand like this until it has grown back As a extra, one can always put the same nail protector, and then it will look everything smooth and nice. You will barely be able to tell that there is silk paper here. So that's pretty much it. After this is all done and the nail is sanded down, then you can just work on it with your regular files and polish them really well so that it will sound okay. And you should expect this to stay on for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes 4, sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends also the type of nail you have, maybe how much it transpires in your nail. It changes from person to person, but more or less you can have some good weeks with that. Remember though that you want to be careful with your nails. This is a temporary fix. It's not something you want to be doing all the time. So try to rethink the normal daily actions that we do, like to open a can. Don't do it with the right hand, do it with the left hand, or turn the keys of your house door. Small actions like this can save you a lot, because at the end of the day, this is a fix. Depend on the break, it can sound basically normal, like your natural nail, because at the end here, for instance, in my case now, I have my normal nail and the break is here, so it's more of a prevention for the break rather than actual break. But remember that you of course don't want to be applying strange things on your nail all the time, not if you're a classical guitar player and your sound depends on it. But on the other side, I really like this silk paper because you get something like this, and I think I bought that maybe 6 or 7 years ago and I still have like a lot. I use this small piece, so that really lasts very, very long. And it's very easy to carry around, doesn't take much space. Usually what I have is a plastic bag here, and I put the silk paper, then I put the pick, then I put here the super glue, the file, and the scissors. Well, when I travel I don't include the scissors, but when I'm here around and I don't take the plane, yes I do. And that's all it takes for saving your potentially broken nails when you're on the road. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope that will be useful. I actually hope that you will not need to use this very often for the sake of your nails. But if you need, I hope that I will be able to help you in that. So if you find this tutorial useful, leave a like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. I upload every week, and I will be very happy to welcome you in this family. Remember that you can also support me by becoming a patron, and you will have access to a ton of exclusive content. All the details in the description down below, and if you want to check it out, enter my website and there is everything written. I wish you all the best. Practice well, don't break nails, and I'll see you in the next video.